The first time I heard about the bridge, I laughed. I thought it was just another story people told to scare kids, the kind of folklore that grows wild in small towns. But now I can't laugh. Not after what I've seen. Before I even tell you the story, let me ask you something. Where are you watching from right now? The city where lights drown out the dark? Or the countryside where silence feels heavier? And what time is it for you? Midnight? 2 in the morning? Because if it's past midnight, you need to listen carefully. That's when the bridge stirs. That's when it remembers. While you're here, hit subscribe. I share stories that don't just scare you, they follow you long after the screen goes black. Like this one. Share this with someone who swears they'd be brave enough to cross. Go ahead. I'll wait. Because once you hear this, you'll understand why nobody comes back. I grew up in a town so small you could drive through it in 5 minutes and never notice it if you blinked. We had one gas station, a school with peeling paint, and a diner where the waitress called everyone Han. The kind of place where rumors stick harder than truth. But there was one story that never felt like a rumor. The bridge. It wasn't even on a map. No signs pointed to it. But if you took the old logging road far enough past the trees that bent like they were leaning away from something, you'd find it. A wooden bridge stretching over a black river that never froze, not even in winter. They called it the crossing. And the rule was simple. If you walked across, you didn't come back. Some said you vanished into the water. Others whispered the words swallowed you whole. A few claimed they'd seen people step onto the bridge, only for shadows to rise and drag them away. I never believed it. Not really. But deep down, I wanted to know. The truth is, I had a reason to go there. I wish I could tell you it was courage or curiosity. But it wasn't. It was desperation. When my brother disappeared, the police said he ran away. Said he probably caught a bus, left town, and wanted a new life. But I knew him. He wouldn't leave without a word. He wouldn't leave me. And the last place anyone saw him was near the bridge. The night I decided to go, the town was silent. Even the dogs didn't bark. The air felt wrong, too still, like the world was holding its breath. I remember standing at the tree line, staring at that crooked stretch of wood. My heart was a hammer in my chest. The river beneath glistened like oil, black and endless. Every step toward it felt like a dare I couldn't take back. That's when I heard a voice. Oh, stretched thin. Like wind dragging words across the night. I froze. My breath turned to ice in my throat. But when I spun around, no one was there. Just the trees. Just the dark. Tell me something. Would you keep walking if it were you? If your brother, your sister, someone you loved was out there, would you cross? Drop it in the comments. I want to know. And that's when I stepped onto the bridge. The wood groaned under my foot like something alive. The air grew colder. The silence, heavier. Halfway across, I felt it. A pull. Like the bridge itself didn't want me to leave. Like the shadows were leaning closer. And then, the river moved. I swear to you, the water below began to ripple against the current. Shapes rising. Stretching upward. As if something was watching. Waiting. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A text. From my brother's number. I dropped the phone. And in that moment, I knew everything the town said about the bridge was true. The phone buzzed again before it slipped from my hand and clattered against the wooden planks. I didn't pick it up. I couldn't. Because the screen still glowed, and on it were words that shouldn't have been there. It said, "Go back." But it wasn't just the text. It was the reflection in the cracked glass. For a split second, I didn't see my face. I saw him. I told myself it was just exhaustion. Just grief twisting the shadows. But the air on that bridge was thick like breathing smoke. And the longer I stood there, the more I felt watched. It wasn't only the river. The woods themselves seemed to lean inward. Every branch pointed toward me like accusing fingers. And then I remembered something. A story my grandmother used to tell back when I was small enough to hide under blankets. She'd whisper it like a warning. Never cross the bridge after dark. The ones who built it didn't build it for people. They built it for what waits underneath. At the time, I thought it was just her way of keeping me close. But now, her words gnawed at me piece by piece. The town had its own folklore about the place. Some said a preacher once led his flock across the bridge during a flood, swearing the Lord would carry them to safety. None of them was ever seen again. Others whispered about the workers who first laid those planks, how they'd gone missing one by one, until the last man, half mad, nailed his own shadow into the wood to finish the job. But the most chilling story was older. Much older. A woman with hair black as river water who had drowned her children there. They said she still walked the planks at night, searching for anyone foolish enough to take her place. I laughed at those tales when I was younger. But standing there, I couldn't laugh anymore, because I could feel her. Someone was on the bridge with me. Do you hear that? Even now, as I tell this, I can still hear it. Slow, deliberate steps behind me. Never too close. Never too far. If it were you, would you turn around? Or would you keep walking forward, praying you'd never see what followed? Drop it in the comments. I need to know. I didn't turn around. Not yet. Instead, I pressed forward. My palms are slick with sweat. My heart rattled against my ribs. Each plank moaned under my weight like it was ready to split. But the further I went, the stranger the bridge became. It felt longer, stretching, as if the far side was retreating with every step. My legs ached. My lungs burned. I looked back, thinking I'd see the tree line just a few feet away. It was gone. Behind me, there was nothing but endless planks. Ahead of me, nothing but mist. The bridge had swallowed the world. I dropped to my knees, clutching the rails. Panic clawed at my chest. That's when I saw it carved into the wood, where my hand rested. Names. Hundreds of them. Etched deep into the grain. Some fresh, some worn smooth with time. I traced my fingers over them. And then I froze. One of the names was my brother's. I choked on air. My head spun. He hadn't been gone more than 2 weeks. How could his name already be here? Unless the bridge wrote its own memorials. And if that was true, then my name would be waiting too. I finally turned around, and I saw shapes. Not solid. Not human. Dark silhouettes, stretched thin like smoke in the wind. Dozens of them. Standing on the planks. Watching. Their faces were hollow. But their eyes, if they were eyes, glowed faintly, like coals buried under ash. One of them stepped closer. Its form shivered in the air, flickering between shadow and flesh. And for the briefest second, I saw my brother's face staring back at me. That's when it hit me. The bridge didn't just take people. It kept them. Not dead. Not alive. Something in between. And if I stayed any longer, it would keep me too. But here's the real horror. What if leaving meant I'd be the one to replace him? I should have run. I should have prayed, begged, anything. But I didn't. I couldn't. Because the figure in front of me was the one flickering between shadow and smoke. It had my brother's eyes. Not just his face. His eyes. The same shade. The same way they widened when he was scared. And he spoke. Not with a voice. His mouth never moved. But I heard it deep in my skull, clear as thought. Every instinct screamed it wasn't him. That it was the bridge using his face, his voice, to drag me deeper. But then he said something only he would know. A memory. And suddenly I was there again. Summer nights. Jars glowing with fireflies. His laughter echoed in the dark. He used to catch them just to set them free again. Said they were too beautiful to keep. My throat closed. Tears burned my eyes. This was him. Somehow, impossibly, it was him. I stumbled closer, whispering his name. He stretched out a hand, pale, trembling, flickering at the edges like a bad signal. But when my fingers brushed his, cold fire surged through me. 1,000 voices screamed in my skull. And I understood. The bridge wasn't a place. It was a mouth. A hunger. It fed on the living by trapping them in its planks, its shadows, its endless stretch. Every name carved into the wood was not written by hand. It was written in sacrifice. My brother wasn't free. He wasn't alive. He was part of it. That's when he said it. He wanted me to take his place. If I gave myself to the bridge, if I surrendered, maybe, just maybe, he'd be released. My chest caved in. My mind spun. This was the choice. Save him by damning myself. Or leave him and carry the guilt forever. If it were you, what would you do? Would you sacrifice yourself for the person you love, knowing you'd never walk free again? Or would you run and carry that weight forever? Tell me in the comments. I need to know how you choose. I backed away. My hands shook. My breath ragged. The shadows surged closer, stretching like tar across the boards. Then a sound. From beneath the planks, the river churned. Faces rose from the black water. Dozens, maybe hundreds. Eyes glowing faintly. Mouths moving soundlessly. Begging. They weren't strangers. I recognized some. People the town had lost. People who were never seen again. And all of them looked at me. Pleading. The bridge didn't want one life. It wanted mine. And it dangled the hope of freeing others, just enough to tempt me. But I wasn't stupid. This wasn't mercy. It was hunger. Even if I gave myself, the bridge would never stop. I turned and ran. Every step I took, the planks split beneath me, shrieking like wounded things. Shadows clawed at my back. Fingers brushed my shirt. I sprinted until the mist thinned, until I saw the tree line ahead, glowing faintly with moonlight. I threw myself onto the dirt, gasping, clawing my way back to solid ground. And when I turned back, the bridge was gone. Nothing but the river. I never saw my brother again. His name remains on the planks I can no longer find. But sometimes, late at night, I hear the buzz of my phone. A text from his number. And always it says the same thing. Go back. If this story left you unsettled, don't wander off alone tonight. Subscribe now, more stories are waiting, stories that don't just haunt you. They follow you. And if you're brave enough, share this with someone who swears they'd never cross the bridge. Because remember, once you know about it, sometimes it knows about you.
Whispered breaths drift like fog through the